This is the Neo Show, where the minds shaping tomorrow speak today. Brought to you by Neo, the browser redefining what AI can do for you.
Hello, everyone. This is Neo Show again. Today we have Zheng from Quizlet. So this is our we invite people working on AI to our show because Neo is an AI native browser, and but AI is not just about browser. So we invite a lot of the founders, entrepreneurs, professors, investors to this show. So before we kick off, just maybe you can do a quick intro of yourself, and we can go from here.
Yeah, my name is Zheng. I work in Quizlet. I've been there for 2 months at this point. I don't know what the audience looks like. Like two-thirds of the high school students in US use Quizlet to help them prepare studies. Half of the college students do that as well. So I'm leading the AI data science effort in Quizlet, really trying to push the kind of using the AI for the study and learning experience, here in Quizlet. Before I was Quizlet, I spent a decade at LinkedIn. Again, lots of the AI work. It was called machine learning then. So like started using machine learning for feed ranking and later working on generative AI. Lots of like let's say working on email generation for LinkedIn recruiters outreach and later like for like lots of hiring assistant as well, different kinds of AI work at LinkedIn. So that's a brief introduction of myself.
Curious, did you get the chance to try Neo?
Oh, yes, I did. I did. So I have multiple browsers like installed. There's Neo, there's Comet, and let's see how that works.
Nice,
And,
nice.
and what's your initial feedback?
No, it's cool. Like it's save my effort to open the ChatGPT app, that's for sure. And then it gets lots of like answer like right away from the box. I think you guys are intentional not to have the like address bar like separate like the other browsers. It's kind of very AI driven. Yeah, it could be faster though, so that's a separate thing.
Cool. So sounds like you like the feature of the merge the chat between the chat and then search, and then you like the fact that you pretty much don't have to switch back and forth between browser and the ChatGPT.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Okay, so let's just get right into it. Quizlet, as you said, right? Being used by two-thirds of the high school students and half of the college students. Why AI is important for Quizlet?
So I think, well, for Quizlets is like had part of our mission and vision, like to help everybody learn to reach their goals, right? I think AI, like once AI comes in, like this is definitely a great opportunity because it really kind of have the intelligence, especially helping students to get to like the knowledge they want. And
Maybe we can level set a little bit, right? What is what give us one or two typical use cases that people are getting help. And then my next question is, how is AI changing that? So
Yes. So like the usually okay, the Quizlet usually scenario is like students cramming for test, right? So there's a test coming by like by certain time. What's the best way you can like kind of get the materials for that, right? So like the use cases would be like, hey, I'm uploading my study notes. I'm uploading whatever like the image I took from my notes, and then I want to generate something that hey, I can like let's say flashcard to quickly memorize and ask the Quizlet app to test me so that making sure I understand certain concept. This is the kind of the concept. This is kind of the kind of usage scenarios. AI would be able to help like from like couple of angle, right? There's definitely a kind of like generation part that hey, you will be able to help the student to generate hey what materials they need or what the materials like the teacher talk about that will be tested, right? And then also about the part that hey it could like supplement hey the information you don't have, right? So this is about hey like if you want to test me, right, how do you generate not only the right answer but also kind of the distractors, the like good wrong answer, so that help me to making sure I can differentiate a certain concept. So those
so
are kind of
everything you discussed that sounds like a very much like a generative AI use cases.
Yes.
Now I wonder what was the help you gave before Gen AI era?
Before the jet, like, okay, Quizlet has been there for a while. Lots of time before that, like, it's kind of more manual entry, right? So, like, hey, like you probably know the flashcard. Hey, this is the term, this is the definition. Like, hey, this is the different. Let's say someone learning a language. Hey, this is the this is the Spanish, this is the English. So they have to enter then, like, kind of like manually, or the teacher enter them manually. So send to the student, hey, those are the vocabulary I'm gonna test next Tuesday. So that's kind of the process, right? But with like generative AI, like you can do that very like automatically and much faster. And that's kind of the like current use cases. We can talk about the later use cases, and but that's what I see for today.
Excel, are you using Quizlet?
Yeah, quite a bit actually. Yes,
Quite a
quite a
bit.
bit. I'm a paying member. Yeah, I have the Q Plus plan, and I know a variety of my peers do leverage the tool. So I'm curious. Now that we spoke about kind of what's here, which is the practice test generation. I know you have the Q chat and the magic notes, as well as how you guys just touched on the past. I'm curious. What do you think will change coming in the future? Is there any new features? I know you can't disclose too much, but do tell anything in the works.
Yeah, yeah. Axel, I probably should schedule private time with you to understand how it works and what it doesn't work. So, okay, so I cannot talk too much about like the Quizlet like kind of product development, but lots of the product development is already out there by other companies. You probably know like ChatGPT, Gemini, they all have kind of the study modes, right? So, and then you probably see like there's a lots of other companies like trying to enter into the space. The basic concept is, hey, like you they want to change like turn anything into kind of a learning experience, right? So hey, like there's something about, let's say, hey, like let's say you have a soccer band, you want to really learn, hey, who's the startup kind of thing about that you can talk to your friends about, those kind of more of the casual kind of learning experience. And there's also kind of more general learning experience that, hey, I really want to nail this concept because, hey, like I'm working on this problem, or hey, like something is coming up that I'm talking to someone expert in this, I really want to get into those things, kind of all of those kind of serious learning experience. And then there's obviously about, hey, cramming exams, certification, and all those kind of things that we want to create a better experience for people to learn. And like learning today on Quizlet, probably you are familiar with, is kind of more text-based. Like there, we do have image as well, but like going down the road, like I don't know if you use Duolingo or not, there's definitely kind of like audio or visual based learning as well. So like to tap into different modality of to help us learn. So different kind of generation of different kind of scenario as well as different modality is where I see kind of the future of like kind of AI driven learning would go.
Interesting. So you mentioned that ChatGPT of the world, that they have the study mode. How do you think about it? Do you feel like, okay, those kind of the large language model, they will be your study companion as well. However, we are going to be much deeper, have a way more functionalities, and then as a result, we have a competitive edge. Or there is, I have a user base. Like how do or brand? How do you think about it? What's your moat, and then what's your advantage over, the big labs?
Yeah, Howie, that's a good question. So that's like you are kind of asking an investor question for Quizlet. So I like your challenge that. So this is how I think about it, right? So I think there could be two scenarios. One scenario is like kind of ChatGPT become the AGI, right? It take over the world. Like you don't really need to build anything on top of it. It will be do study, will be able to do trip planning, everything will be replaced. This is kind of one scenario. Another scenario is like ChatGPT become kind of the foundation layer, right? Like the operation system for the AI era. In that case, you still have to build kind of specific thing, right? So like you still have to build something specific for kind of learning purpose. learning is something different from kind of the knowledge generation. Like ChatGPT is very eager to tell you an answer. If you want to ask them about something, it's kind of search for you, do all agentic loop for you to give you the answer. But sometimes about learning is really about stepping back to say, hey, what this person really want to keep in their mind, and what are the kind of confusion part about this concept that you need to quiz them, you need to kind of stepping back to ask them. So that's kind of a different mode. Like there is a possibility that the language model will be able to do that, but there is definitely kind of you have to switch between different modes, and having a different like having a different kind of application would definitely help, because this will kind of inevitably lead to that mode. This is a kind of, if you broaden up, this is the discussion about vertical AI. Kind of do we need them, right? Do we need the AI for lawyers? Do we need AI for students? The
What's
same.
your gut feeling?
I don't, I'm not an investor, so I don't really know. I think in education space, I do see people like there's many students really need to kind of need those tools to get into the mode of learning instead of question answering. So I think there is still kind of the need for vertical AI, especially in the learning space. But I don't know. Who knows? Maybe AGI will come next year. So.
AGI may come next year. Hey, Axel, what are you going to do when AGI is here? Are you still going to
I'll have to
college
try and
or
use it. I'll have to try
what's
and use it. A lot of the time I spend on Quizlet, I like to leverage the expert solutions. So like the ones that have been verified and are 100% accurate for, X set of questions. And so that results in me not really leaning and leveraging the generative AI as much, because I don't want any small hallucination, anything small. I'd rather just opt for the expert solution. And so I'm curious, what do you guys do in terms of accuracy, and trying to close that gap? I suppose if generative AI comes next year, yeah, maybe I'll have to stop using the expert solutions in
by
Quizlet.
the way, just for me to understand, expert solution is a human solution or what?
Yeah. It's created by humans and they're very accurate, or.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
how you like Axel is definitely our like kind of our great users. So I think like having human vetted some of the learning materials was the way that we have been doing this, right? So like the way we are trying to solve this problem is really through like kind of like having like either having textbook, like grounded by textbook, having human review. We do have a content operation team that kind of review, especially kind of expert solution of those things. And the third thing is really about like community. This is where like we see like students sharing like flashcards, sharing sets together, so that we know that hey, the popular one might be the one that actually kind of get the right answer. So those are kind of like through the user base, through like kind of human like effort, as well as grounded on textbook. Those are the way that we are trying to solve the hallucination problem. But again, this is a kind of a pretty like dynamic field. I don't think we 100% solve it. We're trying to like approximate to get as accurate as possible.
Do you think in the future business, whether Quizlet or what you call vertical AI, is about the human AI combination providing a solution, or do you see that there is a less human aspect on the solution side?
That's a great question. So I think it depends. So in the current phase, the reason we really need a human solution is when a student studies something, they are actually study for this particular course, not just biology, but biology taught by Professor Smith. Like they and Professor Smith used this particular textbook by like the other like whoever like wrote this, right? So this is a kind of very specific thing about like someone is learning. This is a little bit different from general learning. Let's say, hey, I just want to learn, hey, what the rules of, let's say, the American football, right? So that's kind of more general learning that you can get anywhere. But for some like a serious learner, they usually attach to a particular human. This is the today's scenario. I don't know how this is going to evolve, like with the human learning part. The way I think about this is ultimately human want to get together with other humans, right? So like let's say the famous example is chess. Chess was solved the problem even before the LM, but people still play chess with other humans. So I still think like human, like AI would be a tool for human to interact with each other, as opposed to replacing that. But yes, there could be another scenario. Like I think someone is suing ChatGPT for like people get kind of like getting too much in touch with the AI, and AI sometimes would replace the human role. But like both scenario would be okay. I would like to believe that AI is a tool for human to get together as opposed to replacing human.
Very nice. Um, if anyone in the audience has questions, we are happy to take some as well. Um, Maybe we can talk about, because you are technology guy, let's talk about technology. So, GPT, I mean, you were at LinkedIn for what you said, 10 years, and then for a good part of your LinkedIn career, I think Microsoft, your LinkedIn is part of Microsoft. Behind the scene, it's the OpenAI, but you probably see that there is a OpenAI, Anthropic, a gazillion, different technology evolving. How what's your own perception? Like, GPT-5 API evolution happened very fast or too fast, or no, it's still too slow for what you wanted to do. How do you think about it from, you know, the GPT technology is evolving, in my opinion, evolving pretty fast, but from a vertical AI vendor point of view, do you like what is your wish list? Like, do you want the API to be far more, foundation model to be far better, or no, this is not the biggest pinpoint. My biggest pinpoint is about the data, collecting the right data, this and that. I'm just curious, how do you see the bottleneck of the technology, and then in particular, the evolution of the AI, generative AI technology impact to you, and then what you guys are doing?
That's definitely a great question. Like based on my experience in both LinkedIn as well as Quizlet, I see actually the technology is evolving really fast. Like the GPTs of the world are evolving really fast to solving problem that we haven't even thought about. I think the ability for business to capture those upside is where the limit is. Like the limit is actually in the process, in the current kind of like design, in the current interaction pattern. Like that's where I see kind of the limit is. So
You are saying that you are effectively saying technology is ahead of the adoption. The
yes.
adoption, you cannot blame technology is too slow, also sorry, not good enough. It's the adopter side that needs to do things to adopt it faster. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. So
More
like
color. Can you give me more specific examples?
well, like I can give broader example and I can get more specific example, right? So broader example, ChatGPT is still like probably 1 in 3 or even more, like people using ChatGPT only, let's say once per week. Like their daily usage rate is pretty low, so low that they don't even talk about that though. So
By the
so
way, majority of the half of the people are using ChatGPT is between age 18 and 25, as I found out today.
Okay. Yeah. So people like so that you see that even for ChatGPT, people are not using it. So most specific example, if I think about, let's say how like we are trying to use like all the like latest model, right? So let's say I really want to build the agentic capability for the learning cycle. But there is a current use base of course that they are used to this kind of like the current way of like the interaction is like how do I introduce that agentic model to them? Like when I test them to the user, it will get confused, it will get uncertain. This is the kind of I see that hey, it's not that straightforward once you kind of get attached to a specific way of doing things.
Sorry,
So
you may user will get confused.
like user will get confused and then like the
Because
designers or the engineers have to figure out how to present to them.
oh, okay. And the users are confused because I didn't quite get it. Sorry.
Because they used to be, hey, I can directly jump in to study, right? Now, like if I actually figure out, hey, actually you need to do this example 2 more times, but they might not like it, right? So because I'm using AI to figure out things better than them, but how do I communicate that to them? This is one example in Quizlet. In the LinkedIn, the example I saw is recruiter. Like we actually can help recruiter finding better candidate. But the recruiter, lots of them have already kind of have their kind of skills, their curious very embedded. They actually want a filter driven way of like finding candidates than kind of more the AI driven way. Even if we have data to show that's better, so that they don't kind of get to use that. So that we have to keep the gigantic future there to making sure that our kind of the most like kind of the users, mostly a passionate recruiter will be using it. The same thing with like kind of like Quizlet as well. So I see that a lot about, let's say, like the user's preference for the previous paradigm, and to introduce the new paradigm would take lots of engineering and design effort to get there.
I'm curious. So we had spoken about sort of study mode from ChatGPT, and I know they have various systems where rather than sort of blurting out the answer, they'll guide the student to the path. And similarly, in Quizlet, I definitely see people more reliant and more reliant, especially in the past years, on more technology like your application. And so, what's being done to really assess and ensure that it's understanding and mastery that's going on, and not just sort of grabbing the AI and throwing it at the work.
That's there's I'm getting into the space. I'm learning lots of pedagogy kind of like kind of study about this, like how you kind of teach a human brain to learn and master that concept. So there are definitely kind of the most easy things, repetition, right? You like space, a time space repetition to making sure they get that. And then there's also kind of other way to kind of building a benchmark so that it will ask them kind of in different way. But sometimes people get annoyed about all those things, like repeating the wrong questions. Like there are kind of way you can kind of more systematically to making sure that the concept is gets into the human. But again, this is not, but how that combined with the product, how that combined with people actually using that is a separate kind of thing that I think it's a kind of actively figuring out kind of way. So I think let's say lots of like one good example is about Duolingo, because like Duolingo is supposed to be like helping you learn language. But if you go to like lots of, let's say like the Reddit of Duolingo, you will find out lots of people have like 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 500 days of streak, but does not really learn that language. So that's kind of the challenge about how to figure that out. So I think it is a hard problem. There are academic study, but I don't think the product development has get there yet, and that has to get figured out.
Mm. And we have someone in the audience wondering, so what has been sort of the greatest technical challenge? I know you've discussed numerous things that are rather difficult to implement from a design perspective.
What maybe what is has been the greatest technical challenge? So there's definitely scale, right? There's definitely eval is the kind of the biggest challenge, because evals about, hey, the quality of the answer and has been a challenge, and especially and like doing multimodality like, in a good way that like in a people will be able to understand, interact with, has been kind of my engineering challenge more recently. So like there are different aspects. So I can maybe the like maybe I think it's LGD, right? So maybe you can speak about it, and then I can be more precise to get your answer.
Or while the person is typing, I can just fill in a little bit. Like you said, eval is difficult. Yes, that's a big challenge. Any color you can share to solve that problem, or to attempt to address that problem. Like what you know today that you didn't know, you know, not too long ago. Like anything you would share in terms of learning, aha moment when it comes to eval.
So like in terms of eval, like Howie, I think there's a debate there, right? It's about like someone says long like eval is dead, long live eval. So like the eval is dead party basically is actually focused on those benchmarks. So lots of the benchmark like MMU is kind of getting saturated so that they feel like kind of winning a higher score in like that doesn't really matter. And long
I
live.
might be that camp because to me those benchmarks are all BS. But anyway, go ahead.
Okay, but like in the another camp of long leave eval is kind of I have to spend effort like in like to build the eval for my use cases to really know, hey, like is this prompt a little bit better or that prompt really bad or this model really better? That's kind of lots of effort I have to spend up from like with
I-
my
I'm
engineers to
I'm
do that.
that camp as well. But anything, any insights you can share, how to do eval better? I'm just curious. Evaluation better.
Like okay, I don't know if I have a aha moment. This is a kind of like chewing like
And this
glass
is
kind of
for
thing.
the, by the way, this is the background for the audience, right? In the past, you build any solution, you can do a QA plan. Hey, when people type this, you something pop up, you can evaluate your software or evaluate a solution. But now it's kind of a language, right? Hey, I ask you a question, what is X? And then you give me the answer. But how do I even judge it, right? Is that based on comprehensiveness? Is that based on fairness? Is that based on, the tone, right? Is that based on, relevancy? What if I give you, 90, lines, super insightful things, but there's one line that's, less accurate. Do I get a better score than, average, answer, right? It's a very subjective. So that's why evaluation is super hard in the generative AI era. But I'm still curious, Jen,
Okay.
any aha
I'll
moments?
tell you, this is what I see in both like Quizlet and LinkedIn, right? So basically you have to develop the rubrics, right? The rubric includes what you talked about earlier. It's about the, let's say, comprehensiveness, accuracy, and hallucination. Like say, is this like succinct or not? Like, and then there's also kind of very kind of high level one, like, hey, does this like kind of align with the Quizlet or LinkedIn value, right? Those kind of very fluffy one as well. So you have to have the rubric, and then once you see a conversation, like you need to map that to the rubric. In order to map that, there's a human way of doing that. You have to hire kind of a bunch of like labelers to actually do that, and then you can use LM to do that to do the judge. Sometimes like LM once if the more accurate like your rubric is, the easier LM as a judge would work. The less accurate that is, like you probably need human to work, but the human would have inter-annotator discrepancy. Well, that's why I'm saying I don't have a really kind of aha moment because this is a lots of like long during hard work to get that like to get that right. And
It's
yeah,
not one aha moment. It's just a lot of tough work.
yeah.
So ALJD clarified the question with the feeling is Quizlet is pretty good with text, but not so good with image and or diagrams. Is that really true? And then is that a tougher problem to solve or any comment?
Yeah, that's 100% true. That's something we are trying to solve. Like that's that okay. The hardest part is like we need to figure out a kind of like definitely from both design evaluation perspective, how to have those kind of image and diagram to be kind of surface up, right? And like even math is kind of very hard as well to like to have a good product design because like yes you can get the basic math concept into kind of text format, but once you get into kind of more like kind of complex tech like math thing that takes lots of effort.
Well, actually, just going back to the earlier conversation about technology is ahead of adoption, but do you think in this case technology is behind? Because if you have this, better API, the performance is better, your ability to process image and a diagram would it be far better or not necessary? I'm curious.
um is this bad? Okay, what I'm saying is like the development effort to apply those things, right? I see, let's say Nanoblana, and like right now they just win another award on whatever the computer like test. I see those results getting very good. So that's why I feel it's faster. But for me to really apply that to the technology, let's say to solve those kind of diagram and image problem, like is whatever gets hard, right? I need to map that to my current paradigm and like get with the user to get to that. That's the part that's it's slow and hard. Does
Got
that?
it. So it's consistent with what you said earlier in the sense that, look, technology may be, the API may be good enough, but how do I, adopt it? It's not easy. I have one last question. This question is somewhat related to the one from the audience. What drew you to work at intersection of AI and education? But I wanted to expand the question a little bit. We have Axel, my co-host of the show. He has not even started a career yet. Do you have any advice to him, to his generation? Like AI is coming, right? Or not coming. AI is here, right? Is it going to evolve even faster from here? What's your advice? And then, why did you come to this point? And then, what's your advice to him and his generation?
Oh, I'm actually curious about how you answer to this question. This is very hard. I don't think there.
First, though, how did you come here?
Okay,
What drew you to work at the intersection of AI and education? That should be easy.
okay. How did I come here? Like for me, it's like after I spent a decade at LinkedIn, I'm trying to find another field. Like I like both my family kind of my mother is an educator. Like my family also get involved in education. So this is something kind of interesting or kind of hard to me. So that I'm interested in education. And then also like I read like some like lots of blog posts about hey how education would be changing with AI. So that's why I got interested to give it a try. So that's kind of for me how I get into that intersection. And I didn't get to that long. I just get to that like 2 months ago. So it's not like I married to that yet. So
Okay, now advice to Excel.
okay, I want to know your answer to this. So I don't think there is an advice, to be honest, like you can give forward, right? So it's like I think Steve Jobs have this famous like Stanford graduation speech. What he says is like the only thing you can do is looking backward. It's very hard to looking forward. Like you have to follow like, hey, what you think is something like really unique and then like pursue different things and later and you can connect the dots in the back. So this is a kind of um, there are things that are interesting that I think human have this persistency, have the agency to pursue. And AI, at least for now, all the AI is kind of dragging the like average, right? It doesn't really it lifting the floor, but really not raising the ceiling. But for human, with our curiosity, with our kind of passion agency will be able to be like kind of raise the ceiling of any field you are interested in. And with AI, because you can make a master like other dimension to the average very easily, it will enable you to pursue a specific kind of a narrow but very interesting niche that you can do. Like I think this is where like finding whatever is something you can really like tolerate or excel is something I think that's where I feel would get there. Like this is kind of very personalized thing. So I don't know if it's a good answer or
It's a
not.
very interesting answer. So just since you're looking for mine, I will extend from yours, right? You mentioned that from your point of view, AI raised the floor but not the ceiling. I would extend it. I think, same line of philosophy that average is free at this point. So the floor is raised. But I would say ceiling is also raised, but not by AI alone, but with human and the AI together. I think we are raising the ceiling. So from that point of view, I'm jealous and envious about this AI native generation. So that's kind of a way I would what I would say.
Definitely. I definitely agree.
Okay, Excel.
I think it's super insightful. I'm gonna have to go back to Quizlet with a fresh mind with some new insights, trying to raise the ceiling, I suppose. Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay, thank
Thank you for
you,
the invitation.
Jen, and thank you everyone for this new show. And have a nice weekend.
Okay.